Today we are here with Rozana FM. They're a radio station targeting Syrians of all ages from 16 years old to 40 years old. And we're going to be talking with them about how we make current affairs relevant for young audiences. Lina, do you want to introduce yourself? And then if your teammates can also introduce themselves afterwards, that would be amazing.
Yes, I am Lina Shawaf. I'm the CEO in Radio Rozana, and I have been working in this section media since 28 years.
Hi, I'm Lujain. I'm the editor-in-chief in Radio Rozana. I'm also working in the media field for 50 years now.
Hi, my name is Mohsen Ibrahim. I have working as a journalist for more than 10 years. 30, and in Rozana, I'm the supervisor of correspondence.
Yeah, my name is Nice, and I'm the creative manager at Rozana and part of the management team.
Hi, I'm Munir. I'm program manager in Radio Rozana. I'm with Rozana from 2017, and we are still continuing.
In terms of Rozana, I'd love to give everyone listening kind of a short overview of how you guys set up and why you set up. If anyone from the Rozana team wants to take that.
Yes, it is like a radio for Syrian people, independent media that targeting the audience, Syrian inside and in diaspora. So this is our target audience. We consider us as community media that really concerned about build everything with the community, with the people from the bottom of the society together.
Yeah, the majority of our audience are young people, simply because also the Syrian society are really young society, so that's also reflecting the situation in our audience. What we are trying to do and also really to focus on to raise the women audience in our network, and from also the young people to get more younger.
Tell us a bit, how do you do that, May? So how do you get these very young people who also are having so many offers on the net and on social media? How do you catch them, so to speak?
The community itself is young, but what we try to do in the last 2 years that we try to do our programs in a little bit more different, a light way, more interactive, involving people, letting them talk and express themselves through our programs. Also, technically, we set up the kind of interactive game, which is like forming the very serious topics, but in a very light way and very nice way. Then like young people can enjoy being participating our stories. So I think this is the way that we just started doing the thing.
Yeah, exactly. This game was how you were picked. It's a game of going to an election. Could you tell us step by step a bit about how you got the idea, how you did it, and what the reaction was from the audience?
We were a part of an election campaign with the FPU. Then we studied that what we can do in something like an election that happening in Syria without any democracy, without any rights for anyone to choose another one except the Assad. So we tried to give, so we thought that how we can follow the campaign, but without being a part of opinion or like having a propaganda against what's happening inside Syria. So we thought that maybe if we give a platform for the people who can choose their president, that they can vote for him freely.
And they play, and at the same time they get some awareness about how the election is going. So it's playing, but at the same time it's kind of like
awareness.
I feel free to vote. How the feeling of voting, because after all these years We don't have this feeling as Syrian. So I got the feeling to vote. I know how it's going on. So and they actually take it because they want to do it. Any Syrian takes the nationality. First issues is mentioning. He said, "I can vote. Finally, I can feel the sense of voting."
It is just a normal web page. It's not complicated. There is no really like a lot of processing or JavaScript things. It's just a normal web page. So it's if they can read all our articles, they can play this game too. It's not more expensive, not more complicated than the others.
And has it been difficult to set up? Is it something even a journalist can set up, or do you need special web developers to do it?
No, we got a web developer for that. We prefer to do it more sustainable and more into our website after studying all the different options. And at the end, we managed to do it in our website, like very basic. We started to develop it very slowly and also by learning, by doing.
I think it's a really smart model, especially when you're discussing these kind of topics. And it's amazing that it lives on your website because people can use it 24/7. I think if for anyone watching, if other newsrooms wanted to kind of experiment with this kind of voting kind of game, you could even have a similar kind of build out on, for example, an Instagram story where you have the poll feature, and you could play around with the poll feature just to get instant engagement on something similar. But I absolutely love the fact that it lives on your website. Have you had much engagement with that particular game?
Program editors, what they did, that they connected the games on the website with the radio. So the presenter was telling the question and people had to answer on the website, on the interactive game.
Normally we link the program with the game, so it's become more involvement. We have like another program where it's connected with a Facebook page, so it is like a page for talking about very stereotypes, issues or taboos, and then we take one of the story and we even do it as a game, so the player can continue the chat by themselves as a game. So yeah, this is another.
How do you kind of build in visual storytelling on your website? Why do you think that's important?
Normally when you use many kind of broadcasting or promoting the content, so you will get a wider audience, because part of the audience like to watch, part of the audience like to listen only, and part like to read. So when you do in multimedia, so you grown up your audience and make it like a wider audience.
Does this take a long time to kind of offer different multimedia examples for the same story? Have you kind of, what are the resources that takes within your team?
We have just one, like let's say junior graphic designer, where so we are always trying to find a little bit like smart way and a low budget solution. So this is the biggest challenge we have, and distribute the tasks between the team in a way that we can at the end produce something. So sometimes we succeed to do like Lina said, to produce the same story in different ways and shapes, but sometimes we can do it just in one or two for one or two different platforms and not for the others. So it's always related to our capacities and budget and all the challenges we're facing.
Robin, do you want to just speak quickly about some of the examples that we found, other than Rozana, that kind of use this technique?
I think one that stood out for us with multimedia was the Outriders piece, and they sort of took their audience on an interactive journey with Kenya's pastoralists to drive home the importance of saving water. They used video, they used text, they used photography. You could take off the text to just look at the video and have like a photo story. But what we also found really interesting was, a water alert comes up, educating you as well about saving water, and then the impact of you not saving water on somebody that lives quite far away from you. Another one was oxpeckers. It was also about water and drought. Oxpeckers, an African drone, they gave their audience a different view, literally a different view of the situation on the ground, in a piece called When Towns Run Dry. So they did drone photography and video, data journalism and text to tell the story of a crippling drought in South Africa. And then Gapminder also was a project that was done where they took hundreds of photographs from around the world so that people could compare, say if you staying in South Africa or you staying in England, you could compare how somebody else lives in another part with real-time photographs.
Your audience, both inside and outside of Syria, is big, and the special thing about the Syrians is that this is a country from where most people are displaced, either internally or outside the country. Like a radio or a multimedia is something to connect people. How do you take that challenge? What do you do?
Actually, now we are going to be more and more with the solution journalism, actually. So we are with Munir working with programs about Nabd al-Balad. Nabd al-Balad, it's like talking from inside the problem, inside the camps, inside the places, with our correspondent inside Syria. And at the same time we are like having this bridge with organization or the NGO and find solution for these people and let them like now like Rozana, like bridge between two sides. So it was very beneficial actually, and we have in a short time like about 12 success story with helping the people to better their life actually, and to make their life better, and giving the benefits that they need, and also let this NGO that there's some or this organization that the media now following your activities, are you doing your job in good for the people and getting the money and everything. So it was the first step now we did, and we start from the last year. We are using our big network inside Syria from the correspondent, and the people now knowing about Rozana more and more, and they coming to us to talk about their problem. Now we are looking to be more engagement with the people with us when it's being in live.
At #OurStories, we see that solutions-based journalism does really well, and it's really interesting that you guys are also kind of looking into that. For big organizations, sometimes it's a concern that to do solutions-based journalism, it's kind of a move away from the traditional news format. Yeah. And a lot of people become concerned at how to make it newsworthy and factual and make sure that it stays away from the NGO world and makes you look like a news organization, not an NGO. How does Radio Rozana kind of address that?
We are exactly following their work. Did it for the people or no? Not like covering what they are making or like what they announce of their project. No, we are not going to clap not to clap for their work. No, we are following. Did it or no? Yeah. So we are all the time keeping awareness about working as a media, not a part of their media.
Yeah. And I think at #OurStories we do similar in the fact that we're always presenting it as one solution to the problem rather than the solution to the problem. And highlighting the negatives as well as the positives on occasion. I think solutions-based journalism is really is something that the young audiences grab onto because they're a little bit exhausted with the doom and gloom of traditional reporting a lot of the time, and we do see that, especially on some social platforms like Facebook, for example, solutions-based stories do better
Yeah.
And that's why we kind of push those kind of stories on those platforms.
Like it's not our work just following the news and repeat it for the people. So we try to be a part of their, like to give them a solution, to be part of their life, you know, not just like an echo for their life.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. It's been such an interesting discussion on current affairs for young audiences. Thank you to the whole Rozana team for joining us. Thank you to Robin, my colleague, as well, for running us through some amazing examples from the database. If you're watching this, you can go through the database that's going to be linked to the module, and you'll be able to see all the examples that we spoke about, including Rozana and the election game that's linked there for everyone to have a go on. And thank you to Henrik as well and the IMS team for hosting this discussion.